Alright, so now that I've got that arm rigged, I'm going to go ahead and freeze selection. And you're going to want to test out each joint. Now ideally you'll probably want to go through and actually weight these verts a little bit more carefully. And you can always tweak it if you're not quite happy with the way it moves. Alright, that looks good. Alright, I'm going to unfreeze all. Select the mesh. Now, rather than weighting the entire right arm, what we're going to do is we're going to turn Edit Envelopes back on. We're going to go down to Mirror Mode and turn it on. Set the mirror plane to Y. And we're going to want to choose Paste Blue Verts to Green Verts. You can see this is the blue arm, the one we already rigged, and this one's green. Go ahead and click that. Click Update and turn Mirror Mode off. Now if you scroll back up to your bones here, and you select some of these bones on the right arm, you'll see that they're now rigged in exactly the same way that you rigged the left arm. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and freeze selection again. Just test out these bones real quick. Okay, so that seems to be good. I'm going to unfreeze all and save this. Now this will be ready to go ahead and export, and you can use it as your first person model for your biped. Now if you want to actually do your animating with this rig, you're not going to want to just animate like this. You could, but it would be a tremendous pain. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab both upper arms, and I'm going to rotate them very, very slightly down. And I'm going to grab both forearms and move them ever so slightly up. Okay, and you'll see why we're doing that in just a minute. Now go ahead and hide the mesh, and I'm going to go to Create and change standard primitives. Wait, yeah. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Go to Shapes. That's it. Alright, I create a circle. I'm going to make mine red. Doesn't matter what color you make it. Doesn't really matter what size you make it either. And then go ahead and hold down Shift to create a new one. I'm going to turn on my snap angle here and rotate it 90 degrees. And then again sideways 90 degrees. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and attach these. Convert to editable spline. And then attach. Grab the other two. Alright, and let's see. Yeah, that's about the size I want it to. Alright, now I'm going to name this, let's see, left wrist controller. I'm going to use the align tool right here to align it with the left wrist. Alright, now I'm going to make another one of these and call it right wrist controller. And again, use the align tool, align it with the right wrist. Alright, now we want two more of these. One is going to be the right arm controller, and align it with the upper arm on the right side. The other is going to be left arm controller, and of course align it. Okay, now I'm going to go to Animation, IK Solvers, let's go ahead and select a bone. Animation, IK solvers, and IK limb solver. And attach that from the upper arm to the wrist. And let's see, do not want it that enormous, so go down to goal display and change that to about 10 or less. Put mine at 5. Alright, now select the right upper arm and do the same thing. Animation, IK solvers, IK limb solver, attached to the wrist. Alright, now the reason for that IK chain there is now if you grab this one, see, the arm moves with it. And that'll make animating significantly easier. If you need to rotate, you can't actually rotate these IK chains, but if you go to swivel angle, you can move it here, and that'll carry through an animation, so you can use that when you're animating. Alright, now we're going to select our IK chain and go to Animation, Constraints, and choose a position constraint and constrain it to the left wrist controller. Do the same thing on the right side, Animation, Constraints, Position Constraint, right wrist controller. And then we're going to grab the left wrist bone and go to Animation Constraints, and we're going to go to Orientation Constraint and attach that to the controller. Same thing on the right side, Animation Constraints, Orientation, Controller. Alright. Now last but not least, we're going to grab the upper arms and going to position constrain them to their controllers. Alright, now if you unhide your mesh and freeze it, you can see that these now move and animate like we're used to. That'll be much easier for animating with than if you had just left it with your bones. You can do the same thing for a full biped. You'd probably want to create an IK chain from, I don't know, the pelvis to the foot, or the upper leg to the foot, something like that. And then of course same thing with the arms. And that's about it. Well, if you want to set this up for animating, then I'm going to save this. I'm going to lower this to about negative. Whoa, that should have moved the whole setup. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm not sure why I did that. Okay, I'm going to grab all of these and move them down about, let's see, I think about -8 is the right position. And then I'm going to go to the create, and I'm going to create a camera free. Going to rotate this so that it is looking in the same direction as our arms. I'm going to set it to the origin. And that should be about right for your scene. You can go and animate this, you can import your weapons into it, do whatever you need. And that's pretty much all there is to rigging.